YouTube. So, managed to find an excuse to use the corker. Yeah, sorry about yesterday's video. I basically, for some reason, I think there must be some sort of shortcut on the keyboard, which I keep hitting, which lowers the volume of the mic, so now it's back up to 100%, so it should be alright. Or is it alright as it normally is? I think maybe the live stream somehow cuts it down, or there's some limiter. I don't know how it works. But anyway, so that was why yesterday's video was very quiet. So, today I'm trying a different amp. Look! I will... Once I've played for it a bit, I'll come up and show you what it actually is. It's a JOYO BANTAMP BLUE Jay. So, I got this, we got given this in America because the guy didn't have a power supply for it. So, Bill didn't have a power supply, so it's like 35 quid for the power supply for it. And I was like, don't want to pay that for it. So, got one off Amazon for like 4 quid, which was the wrong polarity. So, basically, I just resoldered it. So it's the correct polarity, and it works. Yeah, so it's always labelled as a tube amp. It does have a tube on it. That was why I didn't want to put it in my... There was an option when we were coming back on the plane. So yeah, it's like, if we'd really like it if you could put your hand luggage in the... You know, because hundreds of people just don't want to pay for any luggage in the bottom of the plane, so they take their hand luggage up, and there wasn't enough room, and it was like... Got a valve amp in my bag, so I don't really think, you know, I don't know whatever temperature it goes down to. I mean, the guitars all survived, but in the hold, so we didn't do that. So, normal and bright switch, Bluetooth switch, gain, tone, volume on, and it's got a valve in it that lights up. You can actually see it light up. Aye. So it's just supposed to be a preamp valve. So I've got it plugged into the Trace Elliott 3x12. It's 20 watt, I think. I'll check. After I've played with it for 5 minutes, I'll show you the back of it. It'll say on it, is it 20 or 30 watt or something? So basically, I've got it running at, I don't know, we're talking about just short of 12 o'clock on the gain and 12 o'clock on the tone and the volume. To be honest, I don't know how accurate the recording is. Obviously, the reason I do it this way is rather than DI everything, is so you can actually hear what it sounds like in the room. But basically, it kind of sounds exactly the same as all the amps I like. I do have my pedal board running into it, so they've got reverb on it just now, which isn't on it. Which it doesn't have reverb, doesn't really very much. I think it's actually got an effects loop on it and everything. So there's just reverb on just now. So that's us on the single coils. But it's a nice clean. It's got a wee bit of... In fact, I should probably put all the dials at 12 o'clock, because I always do that with things, just to... You know, so there's not going to be any difference. It was only up a wee tiny bit. There's something going on about the lights there. It's because that light's there on. See, there's this smoky looking bit here. What's that all about? So, I'll try turning the bright switch on. Normal bright. It's going to have to get jammed in. This is the first time I've actually used it. So this might be... It technically wasn't given to me. It was given to the JPACs, the conglomerate between the two of us. So it's probably going on Jem's 4x10 WEM cabinet, which will probably sound pretty damn good. Not that I need another amp. But if I didn't have an amp, I'm not sure I would... I think I would probably get away with it. I don't know. I mean, it's at half volume, and I'm actually playing it quite loud in the house, but I'm really... For in the house, I don't need any more than what it's doing at all. you turn it up, see what... Yeah, it's too loud. So it might... I'm playing along with a drum kit. Not sure, but I think if you did take that into like a rehearsal room and you were playing along with a drum kit, I could have played with Cranking House with that, the band I was playing guitar in, because the drummer was a lovely guy, a wee bit rat-a-tata, which is great for playing in a pub band and stuff like that, you know. Whereas Alan, the drummer in the Sabbath band's obviously a thumpy thump, which I don't think it would compete with. But stick a wee mic in front of it, ideally something like this. Actually, I've used this before for that purpose. You know, you can just like it's just basically just an SM58. It's an 8 kg something, but it's on a gooseneck, and I put it on this piece of metal, so you can just stick that onto your cabinet, stick that into the PA, sorted. It's definitely loud enough in that case, and it sounds really good at full volume as well. It's not pure dying. I suppose I'll have a look at see what the distortion goes to. So if I turn the volume down a little bit, put the gain at full whack, what we're going to end up with. Don't turn the volume down that much. So here's the gain up full, and the humbucker now. Volume I have. Single coil. Bright off. So that sounds pretty good. I mean, I would totally get away with that. We're playing with that, but I think I would probably want some sort of rat pedal in front of it, or something like that, in which case, so we're back at 12 o'clock on all the dials, bridge humbucker, rat pedal. I want to stop playing that like all the time. I mean, hand me a guitar for any sort of jam or anything that sounds like that, I'm in, I'm on, that's perfect. It's exactly what I want. And I suppose I'm using my most expensive guitar. Probably, well, the most expensive one to build, certainly, since it was built by hand, but with all the expensive bits on it. But that kind of, sometimes that's a better way of doing it. I know, you know, the temptation, you always see it with, you know, like Andertons and that, they do videos of amps. I think generally, to be honest, they don't do this. I think they've mentioned it before, but you know, they're trying out 10 watt practice amps, and they're playing, you know, 2.5 grand Les Pauls into them. But nobody's who's got a 2.5 grand Les Paul is going to be using, you know, like a 10 watt Marshall, unless it's an emergency or you're just, you know, it's like for a hotel room or something. But I suppose it's more likely to show up any faults in the amp, rather than using a, you know, like the cheapest Squire, which I don't even know how much you would actually be able to tell the difference, to be honest, between this and, you know, like, by the time it's recorded on there, YouTube's compressed it, you listen to it, it's an unfamiliar person playing, they're playing something you don't know, whether you would really be able to tell the difference, unless you A-B'd it. I'm sure if I A-B'd this with I don't know, an Epiphone SG or something with 2 humbuckers, you would probably be able to tell that this one sounded better if you A-B'd it. But if you came back tomorrow when I was playing the other guitar, I don't know if you could tell the difference. I've kind of already ran this video quite long, haven't I? I want to have a jam with the guitar. I've got work to do, but I'm kind of, I'm going, yeah, amp. Well, yeah, what's the other thing I thought was quite cool? It's got Bluetooth on it, and a wee switch. And I was looking at it, going, I wonder, you can see like there's 2 wee micro switches on the left hand side, and one of them says, like, you know, normal and bright, so you know that when it's up, it's normal. When it's down, it's bright. Yeah, the one that says Bluetooth just says Bluetooth, and it's up and down. You go, oh, is the Bluetooth on or is the Bluetooth off? I think the Bluetooth is so you can run. Yeah, you can connect your phone to it and then play backing tracks through it, I suppose. there might be other reasons for it. Unless it's, I mean, I take it, it doesn't have a Bluetooth input, does it? You can't get like a Bluetooth guitar socket, can you? Like a jack that you just plug in there and then you don't even need a lead. Interesting, because if, I don't even know, I mean, I don't know anything about technology, you know what I mean? But it's quite good, just to go up here, is the switch on or off? Here's the amp here, look, oh! The power switch is either red or blue, depending on whether Bluetooth's on or not. So I suppose blue, I think, looks better. It's going to match Jen's cabinet better, so that's likely to be on blue mode. But unless, I mean, I should probably look up the manual. Don't have any of that stuff for it. Or actually, look, to be honest, I wanted to make sure the amp worked before I even got excited about it. I don't even know how much these things cost. I don't think they're cheap. And on the minus side as well, if you're looking, actually the wee guy around the corner was wanting a gigging amp. I mean, you kind of could, if you're doing, would I gig it? Probably, yeah, because it sounds great right up to the level we're at just now, and if you're playing a gig and you've got a decent sound guy, you do actually have a sound guy, you can just mic it up and it'll sound fantastic. You just get some coming through the monitors if it's not quite loud enough, and which should be. As I said before, like last gig, the gig we played in Paisley, which is probably about a year ago. I took my amp, and the sound guy was very much, he goes, all right, I want you to play really quietly though, so I've got something to play with. Because if you turn up with your bass amp and you're just up full bung, then there's nothing he can do with it. All he can do is turn other things up to match it rather than actually have any control. So he wants to be able to have a volume control where he can get you, not necessarily off, but get you down to too quiet. So he's got an ability to adjust the fader. And actually that amp was set with the gain and the volume, which are the two important ones, lower than it is right now in here. And the gig sounded fantastic. The bass was pure powerful and thumping. He was like kind of taking the sound of the amp and then putting it through the thing. It worked really well. He's a great guy. So if you ever played a bungalow, the sound guy is really good. He's really sound. Yeah. Yes, I think I'm actually going to have to do 2 videos on this, because that's already 12 minutes and I've not even started jamming yet, which is silly. But as you can see, I'm just basically saying it does actually seem to be, and being a tube snob myself, that's the most tubey sounding amp I've ever played through that isn't, well, it's got a valve in it, but I think just technology, obviously they know what they're doing with these things. It does seem to have it, even, it does definitely sound like if you put that in a bigger box, a box this size, or hid it and told me, oh, it's a tube amp, and I played it, like, do you think this is a tube amp? I would be like, yes, I do. It is playing through my own speaker cabinet I do a reverb on, but it definitely does have tubey sound, more so than any other amp I've ever played. I mean, technically this has a tube in the preamp. Well, the Marshall valve states do have a tube in the preamp as well, but I wonder if that maybe does a little bit more than that. Something a little bit cleverer, I don't know. It seems to respond the same way. Obviously I'm playing it through a fantastic speaker cabinet, but so that would be your point signal up here. Oh, why are people buying expensive amps when you can just buy something like that and it's pure fantastic? You do need a cabinet to go with it, and the cabinet will make a big difference to what it is. I should probably actually try running it. In fact, I can. It depends how long the cable. Hold on 2 seconds. How long is the cable? It's comedy, probably not long enough, because the orange has got like speaker cabinets in the back, so speaker inputs in the back, so it's just got like a wee cable with a jack on it. So because I've just unplugged it because I had it plugged into the 3x12. I could just stick that in the back of that, but I've got a feeling that it's just comedy, not quite the power. Yeah, you can't blame the amp for that. The £4 power supply I bought, this cable, which goes to the plug, isn't long enough for me to move the amp to there and plug it into the 1x12 to see what it sounds like. Probably sound pretty much the same. The orange sounds good, but that's like again, that's quite an expensive 1x12 cabinet. Yeah, okay, show you what this thing looks like up close then. So there's different models of this. I think for different types of I mean, there you go. Talk about like a lunchbox amp. But I think people use these. It's almost it's 18 volts. 2 amp center negative, which is impossible to get, by the way. So you can get a center positive one and then modify it. 20 watt amplifier. Headphones. 3.5mm headphone socket. Effects loop in it. So that's where you put your reverb pedal. I don't know what that is. Speaker output's minimum. It's got a speaker output for a minimum 8 ohm, which is fine. That means it basically runs as long as the obvious things you remember was the speaker things. It's minimum. So see the sockets in the back, because the soft techs like this are always wondering about it. The soft techs just get different sockets. Sometimes you get like a switch or something. It's got like 4 ohms, 8 ohms, 16 ohm switch plug, and it's basically a minimum. So if you're not sure, put it into one of the lower ones. So if you get quite often you get like an 8 and a 16 ohm input. If you're not sure what your cabinet is, I would put it into the 8 one, because it's minimum 8. Whereas if you put an 8 ohm one into the 16, because it's minimum 16, there might be problems. So I would always go for, if you're not sure. The flip side is if your cabinet isn't, it should be in the other one, and you put it into the 8 instead of the 16, it's probably not going to sound quite as good and be just a little bit not quite on spec, as opposed to if you put it in the other way, it might blow up. So you can either have sounding 99% as good, but just not quite at premium, or on fire. But not on fire, you know what I mean. So always go minimum. Always put it into the lowest one if you're not sure what's going on. Yeah, I'm going to have to look up the Bluetooth thing. I don't know what that is. What's that? That looks like an earth or a ground thing, doesn't it? Or some sort of coaxial cable. I don't know. But I mean, you can see, actually look at it, you can see the valve. You can't see the valve. You can see it when it's on, but I'm not going to turn it on. I'm over here. Yeah, so this is the Blue Jay. I think there's a few different models of this. For different, modelling different things. Again, if I was a bit dirty, if I was a bit more savvy and actually knew that it was going to work, I would have looked it up to find out. Because I mean, I do, to be honest. I did quite like the idea of having a wireless input, which does seem a bit. The reason I don't have, they're not expensive. Fox's Guitar Channel did a good review of these things. I think for about 30 quid, you could get like a radio, well, not a radio mic anymore, some sort of digital thing, where you just get like a socket and a thing, and you can plug it into the guitar, and you plug it into your amp or into your pedals, and then you've your, wireless, a wireless system. That was the word I was looking for. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I can't really get far enough away for it to be worth it. I mean, it's like, yeah, I'm wireless, look, ooh, I can go over here. Or I can go over here. And it's like, I can't get any further away from my amp. So it's really not worth it for me, because I'm standing right next to my amp in here. On stage and stuff like that, or if you got a different room, maybe a bit different. But I'm thinking if for playing over at J-Pax's, if it's got a Bluetooth thing, that might be really good, because she's awful with leads. Really, I mean, it's just, I've been playing guitar forever. So it's just like, just standing it, knocking it into things, and you're just like, oh, come on! But it's just one of these things that comes with use and practice. It's the same as like if you ever show somebody your guitar, it's like, oh, you want to see my guitar? And if somebody plays the guitar, hi, here you go, have a shot. You don't want to give it to someone who doesn't play the guitar, because you hand it to them and they go, oh, and then bash it off the wall and hit it off the ground and drop it. And you're like, just get used to it, And also just wee things, because obviously we've all done it. We've all had a lead plugged into an amp that was dead short, and then just walked forwards and it's pulled the amp over, or it's pulled the socket out of the guitar and all that things. You just get used to that not happening, and I don't stand on my lead very often. Always loop it in below there, behind your strap, see? That kind of thing. Yeah, so Yeah, I've now talked for 20 minutes on this amp, so I can't have this as... I can't do a jam now. But I honestly think that of all the amps I've had recently, that it's been one of the most surprising ones. I mean, I borrowed a few off my pal Ian, T-Gun Music. What was it, a Victory something? And yeah, I could totally have used that. And, you know, I'm looking at, to be honest, I've got 3 amps just now. But that, I would get away with using that, but it's a bit special. My wee Laney 15 watt, the PV Valve King 50 watt, and the orange. And the 3 of them are all brilliant and are exactly what I want for in here. Maybe not what you want. Maybe you need lots of other things, you know, like maybe a Boss Katana or a digital. It's more your thing. But me, that's what I want. That's the sound I like. And the 3 of them all do that. Also, and I suppose because I'm using the loop pedal and the tuners and stuff, and but basically because I'm using the loop pedal, I'm pretty much only using the clean channel in any of these amps, and I'm not gigging. If I was gigging, I would be, you know, I'd be able to use the distortion channel, but I'm only ever using the clean amps, and these all do it. The ones I've got, but I have had plenty of amps that kind of fail at that, where it just... It's dead hard to put your finger on what the actual sound is, and it's a bit of compression, and it kind of gets softer and flappy at the edges and things like that, which just... There's so many tube simulatory things which I get, and I can hear what they're doing, and I go, oh yeah, totally, I can see that they're trying to... I can see what it is they're trying to do to make it sound like a valve amp. I mean, they've been done this for 40 years or something like that. You get the tube sound or whatever it is, but that's kind of like that. Oh, I've done this painting of a giraffe, and it's like pure... If I did a painting of a giraffe or a drawing of a giraffe, you're going to know it's a giraffe, right? You're going to go, yeah, totally, that's a giraffe, obviously, but it's not going to be a good picture of a giraffe, but you're going to know what it is I'm trying to show, as opposed to being, if you got like a proper painter to paint a giraffe, go, oh wow, that looks exactly... It's a really good picture of a giraffe rather than a picture of a giraffe. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Yeah, so I'm just going to do another video, actually, sod it. I'll just stick it out later on in the week or something like that. But I'm going to record it now because I want to see what this amp can do with a bit more oomph. Oh, and before I go, what was I going to say? Like and subscribe. I never say that, but I should. It makes a huge difference. And I just get pissed off with all these channels that have got like 1 million subs, and the first 5 minutes of the video is them trying to sell you stuff and Patreon and oh please fund me here. Not, and you're like, come on, you're getting, you know, £100,000 a year for this already. You don't need to punt your stuff. Whereas I kind of do because I don't have any subs. Yeah. Check this out. This arrived from, is it Montana in America? Look, I don't know if you can see this. This is a hand-painted guitar. Look who that is. There's Jen. And there's Scott, who unfortunately probably won't get to play this guitar. Doesn't it look fantastic? I've got all the bits to put it back together again. So this is done by Daniel. Yes. So I'm looking forward to putting this back together. And a wee question: what do you know? What, see the fretboard? What do you notice about that fretboard? I mean, it's got the... In fact, the cards are all playing guitars. I hadn't even noticed that. See the cards from Alice in Wonderland. They're all playing guitars. What do you notice there? Yeah. So it's obviously Alice in Wonderland. What we're doing here. I think this is Daniel, the guy who painted it, and that's J-Pack, Pax, the dog. I suppose all this is kind of after. Not a heavy guitar, I'll give it that. But yeah, so Saturday night this week for my live stream. I was thinking about giving up drinking. I don't think that's why I'm wearing the Bucky jumper. I just overdrank on Friday, so I'll probably be all right and up for it again. Like if you ask me, do you want to drink tonight? It's like, no, and it's now Tuesday, and it's like I haven't been drinking since Friday, and I'm still a bit iffy. Anyhow, so rock on, and I'll actually get on to the work I'm supposed to be doing rather than playing this. I'm not. I'm going to play this for another hour. I'm going to end up just basically working tonight instead. Okay, love you all.